Well, penguins are our flesh and feathers. They're us. And if anyone's gonna save us, it's us.
Penguins are one of the most underrated birds on the planet. This is mainly because they can't fly, and they are some of the only species to live in extreme cold. Their amazing life cycle is something that we can't get over either. Today, we're going to be talking about some fun facts that you need to know about these adorable creatures. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bar for more tech videos and updates such as this one. Penguins are one of the most ancient birds to ever roam the planet. Many of you think that penguins are modern birds, but surprisingly they date back to the dinosaur era. This bird species dates back even back to the first mammal fossils ever found. One of the oldest bird fossils found by humans was a penguin. The oldest living penguin is Waimanu, which translates to the water bird. There are two known species of Waimanu. One is the Waimanu mataringi, and the other is a slightly smaller version called the Waimanu tuatai. Both species originate from New Zealand. Believe it or not, the oldest fossil of a Waimanu penguin ever to be found is roughly 62 million years old. That is long before we humans were even a thing. In fact, they are even older than the oldest ape fossil to be discovered, which dates back to 55 million years ago. So to put this in perspective, these ancient penguins first emerged during the time reptiles were losing dominance in the world and 50 million years before the first relatives of the modern human would roam the earth. Penguins started returning to the sea after the extinction of dinosaurs. Ancient penguins would live a much more different lifestyle than they do today. Remember that 60 million years ago, the tectonic plates on Earth were different, and that meant that the continents we know today were much closer together. This means that the continents such as Australia and South America were located closer to the South Pole, explaining why many fossils of these birds were found in these locations. These creatures used to stay inland most of the time, because there were not many predators roaming the Earth at that time. Few large animals roamed the Earth on those two continents, and there is a high chance few large animals roamed the Earth on those two continents, and there is a high chance that these birds were thriving during that period. However, following the extinction of dinosaurs appearing in the cold south because of their great ability to adapt to different climates. This led ancient penguins to stay closer to water to escape any unexpected predators by diving. This eventually gave them the ability to hunt for food in the sea and even hold their breath for long periods. Penguins were one of the first animals to return to the waters, way before the modern blue whale, sea lions, seals, and walruses. Penguins used to be massive in size. The majority of the population has this idea that penguins are small in size and can reach up to a human's knee. If you know that this is nowhere near the truth, then congratulations, you know more about penguins than the general public. Even though there are species of penguins that can be quite smaller in size, one of the most popular penguin species can be as tall as a fully grown woman. There are a few emperor penguins that can even grow as big as an adult male human, but scientists believe that this isn't the largest penguins have managed to grow in the past. Some ancient penguin species are thought of growing an average of 5 or 6 feet tall. The Pachydyptis penguin species were true giants, but the scientists isn't sure how big they exactly were because only a few bones of this species were found. Scientists have also discovered that among these giant penguins, there were penguins of all shapes and sizes, with the most common of them being tall and slender of sort and stout. The full skeleton of a penguin was found in Peru and New Zealand. What scientists found out about these species was that they were about 4.5 feet tall and 5 feet tall whenever they went in the water. The reason their height would increase in the water is that they would stretch their necks for a better swimming and hunting experience. Even though they are considered birds, these species have been overwhelming humans with their unique traits since we first started studying them. Scientists have discovered that these penguins have both behaviors of land animals and sea mammals. They are equipped with flight muscles to swim quickly in the water when most birds use these muscles to fly. Penguins also tend to cover themselves in blubber to store maximum energy capacity. These birds live in warmer environments. Anytime the word penguin is said, people immediately imagine a cold habitat. This image of the penguin has been created because all advertisements with penguins in them include something that has to do with ice, cold temperature, and the Arctic. Even the movie Happy Feet or March of the Penguins were located in an Arctic environment. But what is truly surprising is that the majority of these birds live outside the Arctic. Some of them even live in warm environments. We can encounter different species of penguins in the equator and the coastal deserts. It is just so fascinating to realize how penguins have managed to adapt to any type of climate, from the extreme cold to the extreme heat. But why don't penguins live in normal climate areas if they can manage to live in such extreme weather? bear? Well, scientists can't explain this, but they think that these birds like environments that lack too many predators, since they aren't built to defend themselves. Comparing penguins that live in the extreme heat with penguins that live in extreme cold is very interesting. By comparing how they evolved in these two entirely different worlds, we can see how they have different bone structures, have different characteristics, and even behave differently. Some ancient penguin species were considered spearfishers. If we look closely at the shape of the skull of an ancient penguin, you probably might not realize that it is an actual penguin. Their large beaks and flat heads make them look like an entirely different bird species. Its long beak takes up more than half of its skull, and it is made up of some powerful bones that made it resemble the shape of a spear. This has nothing to do with the beak of a modern-day penguin, which has a small hook so they can catch prey. The reason why penguins used to have such long beaks was that they were spearfishers. They used to roam the waters and hunt down fish with its beak. This species is found in Peru, and it is named the Catapus thalassii. The Catapus thalassii are thought to be more than 35 million years old after they were discovered in sediments from the ocean floor. This fossil is considered to be quite a rare find, as it came along with the extremely rare skull, not only for penguin fossils, but for every other animal fossil discovery. There are only a dozen of ancient penguin skulls preserved, and the majority of them are in bad condition. Ancient penguins had red and gray feathers. The color of an extinct animal usually remains a mystery. In most cases, the fur or feather of an animal is destroyed with time, leaving only its skeleton behind. But even if the fur or the feather is preserved in some form, it is often carbonated to the point of losing its color. However, scientists were able to find out the color these penguins had in their past, as they found a couple of feathers that held a microscopic fingerprint. These fingerprints came in the form of melanosome, which are tiny components that impart color to structures like mammal hair and bird feathers. Thankfully, scientists were able to find the color of ancient penguins because melanosomes are tough and can resist even millions of years. They can resist in the weirdest of conditions, such as in the ink sac of an ancient squid fossil. Another interesting place where melanosomes were found was when scientists found the Equator penguin species. This 36-million-year-old fossil was in perfect shape when found and even had preserved parts of its feather and skin. The Equator was small in size and had flattened red and gray feathers, which debunked the whole hypothesis that these birds were only capable of having black, white, and yellow feathers. Scientists can't explain why penguins lost their red pigmented feathers and the black on top, white below uniform became the norm. Many believe that this happened so that they could be less visible to predators. The red feathers suggest that these ancient penguins look drastically different than the ones we are used to seeing today. These ancient penguins have a pretty interesting story to tell, and most of it is yet to be discovered. In 2005, the study for penguins increased and researchers were on the lookout to find more about these unusual birds. Since then, 10 new extinct ancient penguin species have been found, and not even one single person would have predicted that there would be an extinct penguin with red browning feathers roaming on the face of the earth. We wonder what other unique things are yet to be discovered about these enchanting birds. Did you enjoy this video? If you did, be sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a big thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching.